Alright, I'm going to do a lentil soup today, lentil and bacon soup. I'll start this bacon frying first of all. I've got these wee bacon lardon things, and just going to start frying these and then chuck the vegetables in. Yeah, lentil soup is a funny business, which I will talk about. It's quite a lot actually. But it's bacon, you can never have too much bacon. So I'm just going to fry the bacon, fry off the vegetables, and then throw in the lentils. All quite straightforward. So yeah, and some ham stock cubes. There should be 4 in there, that should be enough. So I've been making this recipe for quite a long time now, and I live in London, and whenever I make this recipe it sort of doesn't work very well. What happens is that what you end up with is just liquid with whole pieces of lentil in it that look like wee circles like that. So it's just watery liquid with whole lentils in it. And I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, it wasn't breaking down and creating a thick, rich kind of creamy soup. Because these are red split lentils. And they should, as they cook, they should break down and they should disintegrate and become a thick, creamy soup. It's not like your black pooey lentils that it doesn't matter how long you cook them, they never break down. These ones break down. So these were not breaking down properly. Couldn't figure out why. Talking on my phone to my Talking on the phone to my aunt and my cousin in Scotland, and asking them how they do their lentil soup, and we're doing it the same way basically, and I couldn't figure out why mine was rubbish and theirs was perfect. I was in Scotland one time and I made the recipe, I made it there and it came out perfect. So what I concluded was that the hard water doesn't break down the lentils properly. Or sorry, the lentils don't break down properly in hard water. And so we'll get rid of that fat out of that bacon. We'll turn it down a wee bit and use that fat to fry up the vegetables. So what I did was came back down to London and got some bottled water, did the same recipe, and it worked. So that's the solution. But the thing is, I don't always have bottled water, and I can't be bothered buying it because it's too heavy. It's too heavy to carry up from the supermarket. You know, I have to, the supermarket that I walk to anyway. And so what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to blend this soup at the end. To deal with the fact that the lentils are not going to break down. You'll see what I mean at the end. Yeah, it was annoying because I kind of wonder what I'm doing wrong, you know. But I think the technique, there was nothing wrong with the technique, it was just it's the hard water. I've lived in London for 20 years. And you know, I choose to live here. And I don't like to complain, you know, I don't like to come down here and then complain about stuff. But hard water, I flipping hate it. Having to descale your kettle. Just a flipping nuisance. Hard water and driving. I miss enjoying driving in Scotland and I miss the hard water. Carrots. Normally I would peel these carrots, but I'm not going to bother. I think I'll just grate them straight in. So just fry the bacon just before it starts catching there. Chuck the vegetables in, and then the moisture will come out the vegetables. I'll turn that back up to 6 actually. The moisture will come out the vegetables and you can see it's deglazing, it's taking that off, taking the sticky bits of bacon off the bottom just before it burns. I'll grate these carrots. It's my cousin's idea to grate the carrots. I've even washed them, not bothered. You could be putting potatoes into this as well, a bit of Swede, celeriac maybe. Quite a lot of vegetables, but it's fine. It'll cook down. So yeah, just yet another recipe where you're just piling loads of vegetables in, using up lots of vegetables. And as usual, cleaning up as we go along. Lentils. So I'm going to do 5 to 1. So 5 water to 1 lentils. Lentils. You don't actually have to fry the vegetables. If you're not using the, obviously it's better to fry the bacon and render that fat out. But if you weren't using the bacon, you don't have to. If you weren't using the bacon, you could just fry. You could just throw all of this in straight into water. You don't need to fry the vegetables. It's obviously better if you fry them, but you don't have to. Just 1 cup of lentils, just going to give them a wash. Similar idea to the rice. You can see all this cloudiness that's coming off. Then we'll just save having to do so much skimming when we come to boil it. Just basically keep doing that until the water runs clear. Yeah, I was soaking the lentils and stuff, but cooking it for a long time, but nothing worked. Nothing would break down the lentils properly. They were soft, but they just wouldn't break down. You'll see that later on when it's cooked. But we should be able to blitz it, and it should sort it all out at the end with a stick blender. But it was quite good in a way, because I thought I was doing something wrong. But what I was doing was fine. It's just the hard water doesn't break the lentils down. It is the 5th of August, summertime, and I'm doing a soup. And I've mentioned this before, I don't really tailor my food to the seasons as such. If I fancy a salad in winter, or a soup or a stew in the summer. I mean, I've got a portion. I made up a pot full of that pork belly stew, pork belly and lentil stew. I actually use rice this time in it, but that's a portion of that still in the fridge. Again, another wintry type dish that I'm doing in the middle of summer. Should do a salad actually. I don't think I've done a salad video. I'll do a salad at some point. Okay, so that's caught that a wee bit there. Spending too long on those lentils. I think I just caught it in time. It's caramelised. Yeah, I think that's alright. Yeah, I'll let that go a wee bit too long there. So again, I mean, I did that deliberately there just to show you how to deal with if it starts to burn a wee bit. It's not burning, because I'm not getting, there's no smell of burning, there's no black bits, but it was right on the edge there. So if you notice it's starting to, if you go like that and it's got lots of darkness at the bottom and it's just about to burn, just stick a wee bit of water into it, and that'll get it off the heat. Stick a bit of water into it, and that'll stop it. Or keep stirring it a bit more regularly than I was doing there. But yeah, no, I just did that to show you what to do in an emergency, honestly. And this soaking as well, it's helping to rehydrate the lentils, shorten the cooking time a bit as well. Yeah, I did a lot of washing, and that'll do it. And yeah, like when my aunt and my cousin, I was saying to them about the 5:1 ratio, and they're like, oh, you don't need to bother about that, just stick it in, you don't have to measure anything. But I quite like to measure it, so I'm going to do 5 water to 1 lentils. About 5 because there was a bit some going in between. You don't have to be too accurate, but roughly 5:1. You can kind of relax now because it's not going to burn now. So you've got your bacon flavour in there. I was going to lift the bacon out because I'm going to put the blender in this at the end. So I wasn't going to leave the bacon in. I wasn't sure about blending the bacon. I haven't done that before. But if you fry the bacon and then take it out, and then cook the soup and then put the bacon, and then blend the soup at the end and then put the bacon back in, that would be good. But the bacon hasn't been in it through its cooking time, so it hasn't put the flavour into the stock. So this way you're going to get more bacon flavour, but I'm not sure what it would just be good to kind of chew on these wee bacon bites at the end in the final soup, but I'm going to blitz them up. I'm just going to dump these stock cubes straight into this. I would normally have any, I don't have any boiling water. I'm just going to drop them straight in. It's quite liquidy, and we'll just kind of make sure that they do dissolve down, because you really don't want lumps of this. I should just put them straight in, actually break them up a wee bit. It should dissolve down. It's going to take a wee while to cook, so. These are ham stock cubes, and they've got a nice smoky ham flavour to them. Here he comes. They've got a nice smoked flavour to them. So you've got your smoked bacon plus the smoked ham stock cubes. So it should be nice and sort of smoky, nice smoked ham flavour with it, which works really well with the lentils. There's a lot of salt in those stock cubes, so I'm not going to bother putting salt in it just now. What I'll do is I'll let these stock cubes dissolve through, and near the end, maybe even right at the end, I'll adjust the salt if it needs it. So that's basically it now. We just have to let that boil. You want to keep stirring it every now and again to make sure that those stock cubes definitely have dissolved through, because you don't want a lump of stock cube. But just basically frying your bacon and vegetables, chucking in your washed lentils, a few stock cubes, and now we're just going to stick a lid on it, and going to cook it until the lentils are soft. Now, if this was soft water, if this was bottled water, you would know it's done. All the lentils would disappear, and it would be a thick, creamy kind of soup. But I don't think we're going to get that, but you'll see that at the end. What I would normally do now is look up at the wall and I would look at the clock, but a weird thing happened. My clock stopped. I changed the battery and it started again, so that's fine. A couple of weeks later, the clock stopped again, which is a bit weird. Changed the battery, it didn't make a difference. Tried a couple of batteries, it didn't make a difference. I've got 2 other clocks sitting on a shelf in my bedroom that were working when I put them on the shelf, but they didn't work either. For for some reason. So I've got 3 clocks which were all fine, that all at the same time decided to stop. So then you kind of start thinking, have I actually managed to stop time? And then I'm thinking, can I get rich from this? Can I he's agreeing? Can I do the lottery, or can I go to the casino or something like that to get rich? Or can I get women to be attracted to me who currently aren't attracted to me, which is all of them. But then my digital watch is working fine, my computer time is working fine, so maybe time hasn't stopped. So anyway, no wall clock, I'll just use my digital watch. He's got food there, he's got water, and he's still... I gave him some tuna this morning, which he loves. It's probably he wants some more of that. So what you want to do as well is, you shouldn't have to do this too much, but you can see as it's coming up to the boil, there's a bit of froth on top. Just skim that off. Because we washed the lentils, you shouldn't have to do that too much. Smells really good already, it smells smoky. If we hadn't washed the lentils, this would produce an awful lot of foam and kind of scum on top. There's a bit of fat coming out of the stock cubes as well, a wee bit of fat coming out of the bacon as well. Nutritionally, you've got a bit of fat from the bacon, you've got some salt from the bacon, and a lot of salt in the stock cubes, so a bit high in salt, a bit high in fat. Well, not too much, not too high in fat actually. The fat's not too bad, because I just used a small amount of vegetable oil to fry, or rapeseed oil or something to fry it in. It's the high salt content of the stock cubes that's the issue here. To deal with that, you could get a ham hock or a smoked gammon joint, boil that up and use that as your stock instead. But I haven't got any of those. So it's not too bad with the froth. Don't want to take too much of that fat off at the top. The fat's good, you know, the fat's going to add a lot of flavour to it. So you can see I've kind of left that layer of, hopefully you can see it, there's a wee layer of fat there. Leave that there, you know, you don't want to, that small amount of fat is good. Because it's, you know, they're making whatever that's going to be, 4 or 5 portions of soup. Four large, 5 small portions of soup roughly. So, you know, a bit of fat through it's good. So we'll turn that down and we'll just let that simmer with the lid on. It's probably actually a lot easier for me to be using my watch than my clock. £7 this cost. So I will come back in probably half an hour, 40 minutes. Alright, so what's that? That's just over an hour. So I turned it off. I turned this off at an hour just to let it cool a wee bit before I blend it. And I just got these wee bread rolls. They're just cheating a wee bit. These bread rolls that you bake at home, and you just stick them in the oven for 10 minutes. So that's my bread. So let's have a look at the soup. So it cooked for an hour. I took it off, just pushed it back, turned it off at an hour. So if we have a look at this, what you can see, if we have a taste of it, taste wise it's really good. It tastes perfect. It's really nice, exactly the flavour I'm looking for. But you can see the lentils haven't broken down. So when you look at the it's a bit rubbish. What you've got is you've got this clear liquid. You can see that you've got this clear, runny, watery liquid, and you've got these whole lentils, which are soft. You can kind of crush them and they're soft. They do kind of crush down, but they've not fully broken down. So if I had used bottled water, or I was in Scotland with soft water, I'd be finished. This would be a creamy, thick liquid soup, and we'd be eating it now, and you would be enjoying the kind of chewing on the wee bits of fat bacon fat, and eating the pieces of vegetables. But I didn't use bottled water today, I just used the hard water. So that's the that's the problem. I mean, the thing is, you can eat that, you can eat it like that, it's just not very good to have this kind of watery liquid and then whole lentils. It's no good. So like I say, I don't always have bottled water, so I'm just going to blitz it. It's not ideal blitzing up the bacon bits, but just going to crack on with it. See that immediately it looks way better already. Before, if you lay it flat down, doesn't seem to be much happening, so just tip it on its edge a wee bit and it all moves. You get that vortex and it all feels like it's all been pulled through the blades. Looks good. So that's it. You can see it didn't take much. The lentils had really softened down. It didn't take, it was just kind of a couple of seconds there, and it was done. I'll give that a rinse off. It's the good thing about the disconnecting one, which I wasn't that bothered about it to begin with, but it means that when you come to clean it, you put your fingers in amongst the blade, you know, it's definitely not going to turn on. It's very safe. So that is the end result. I'll serve up a portion. So this is what you would get to automatically in a soft water area, is this, see that creamy, rich, I mean, look at the difference between that, you know, that's just like night and day. So appetizing, really nice and creamy and rich. And this is going to taste really good as well, because all the vegetables and the bacon have now become the soup themselves, so it's just going to add to the flavour. So blending it is a good idea, but blending a lentil soup in Scotland is kind of unheard of. You don't really need to do that. Taste. Really nice, and it won't separate out again. The lentils have all broken down. Really good. The smoked bacon, the strength of the bacon flavours coming through on the lentils, really nice. So yeah, that's how you kind of do a lentil soup in a hard water area. You either use bottled water or don't, just use the hard water and then use the blender at the end. You lose the texture, but you obviously get a much nicer end result. I'm going to have that with my my cheats, my cheats baked bread. That's done. Really good. I didn't add any extra salt, I forgot to mention that. So just the salt from the bacon and the stock cubes was enough. Those were the stock cubes I used. I don't know if I showed that, the ham stock cubes. 4 of them for the 5 mugs of water.